Hello, Eurovision friends. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, Eurovision Histories, for another odds update and also a chart update. The chart update will be at the end of the video on the day of the grand final of Eurovision 2025. So we'll be looking at the odds as they are at the moment. One country in particular seems to have some momentum at the moment, going up and up and up. So we'll be looking at that. But I also want to take a look back at the last couple of years and who the odds predicted to do well and to win actually in Eurovision. This is important. The winners' odds don't try to predict the entire result of Eurovision. They just try to predict the winner. So if an entry is 23rd in the odds for winning, that doesn't mean that the odds think it will come 23rd in Eurovision, just that it's the 23rd most likely country to win. Hope that makes sense. So let's look back before we look at this year. In 2021, the odds predicted Italy to win, and they were correct, of course. They had a 26% winning chance on the day of the final. France had a 20% winning chance, so quite an open year, you can see there. And the only thing they got wrong, even though, as I said, they don't try to predict the result, but Iceland was not in the top 5 in the odds and then managed to be top 5, and Malta was in the top 5 in the odds and did not come top 5 overall. In 2022, Ukraine with a 59% winning chance, and obviously they won Eurovision with a huge margin, especially in the televote. So the odds were correct there about the winner. In second place, they had Sweden with 11%. In third place, the UK 10%, which came second in the end. And then Italy with a 5% winning chance, which came sixth, I think. And then Spain came third and was fifth in the odds. The only thing they missed was Serbia doing so well in the televote that Constructor ended up in the top 5 in the end. Then in 2023, 51% winning chance for Loreen in Sweden, which did materialize. She did win Eurovision. In second place, they had Kerrier with a 21% winning chance, and that also happened. I mean, not the winning, but he did come second. In third place, they had Ukraine. In fourth place, this was a big miss, having France as the fourth most likely to win, and then France only came 16th. In fifth place, they had Israel, and they kind of missed Norway and Italy being in the top 5 in the end instead of France and Ukraine. And then last year, and this is really the year you want to look at if at the moment you're not leading in the odds, Baby Lasagna had a 42% winning chance in the odds, which did not materialize, as you know. Israel had a 19% winning chance, but Nemo in Switzerland at 15% did manage to win. So the odds were not predicting the winner correctly the day of the final last year. France had a 5% winning chance, had gone down a bit after the jury final because his voice cracked a bit. I can say that during the jury final last night, which I watched, and I'm going to give you a review later on, so subscribe if you don't want to miss that. The big favorites at least performed very, very well, both vocally and technically, and everything else worked. So no big takeaways there for the winner's odds. So having that in mind, so we know the odds have predicted the winner quite correctly a few of the last couple of years, but especially last year they were quite wrong. Let's look at the winner's odds as they are at the moment. You see the errors there if a country has gone up or down. But again, these are the winner's odds. So Armenia, Portugal, Iceland, Lithuania, Norway, San Marino, Latvia, Poland, Denmark, and Luxembourg all have an under 1% winning chance because not that many people think they actually have it in them to win Eurovision, which even if you love these songs, I think you would probably agree with. But again, just my opinion. Then this is quite nice for me to see because I am from Germany. We have a 1% winning chance. I don't see it, but yeah, quite good. But I can tell you that last year, the consolidation around the top in the odds was much bigger than this year. So this seems more like an open year, even though the leader this year has a huge winning chance, so we'll get to that in a second. Then Greece, Spain, Ukraine, the UK, Italy, and Malta. So we're already in the top 10, and we're still only at a 1% winning chance. The UK is always a bit higher in the odds than in the end result. I think because mostly British people bet. In most other European countries, it's not allowed to bet. So yeah, that might be the reason. Then Albania, 2% winning chance. They got a very good running order and you see that they have increased and decreased a little bit, so people are unsure about that. You see the dots there. If they're green, that means the country increases. If they're red, it means it decreases. Then Estonia had a better chance, I think. Let me check. No, a 2% winning chance a few days ago. And also a week ago. So that has kind of stayed relatively steady. However, the very early running order will probably hurt its chances there. Switzerland in 7th position has gone up a bit. Let me check again. Was 8th last time with a 3% winning chance, so also kind of steady. Israel had a 6% winning chance a week ago and is now at 3%. Maybe the very early running order they got has impacted the odds. Then the Netherlands, they were at a 4% winning chance. They shot up to 7% during this week, and now they're back at 4%. He did have, I think, a few vocal issues in the jury final. But others have said that he sung perfectly, so maybe my ears are wrong. I don't know. So that might have been why this has decreased a little bit, at least. Finland had a great jury final performance, so she has gone up to 5% winning chance. She was at 3% a week ago. And then this is the one I was talking about, the one with the momentum at the moment, even though you see a red dot there too. At 13% now. A week ago, she was at 8%. A few days ago, at 6% winning chance, and has now shot up to 13%. The jury final performance was very, very good. So that might be one of the reasons. The running order is very good. One of the only ballots very late in the running order. So yeah, France has the momentum at the moment. They won the press poll as well after the jury final. So interesting to see. And Austria, I think, compared to a week ago, has decreased a bit. Compared to a few days ago, has increased. But France is kind of coming closer and closer. It's still a 7% difference. That's not nothing. But yeah, interesting to see the momentum for France, especially. But we also saw that Lazara in 2023 had a lot of momentum also, and then did not do as well. This is why I said this is just my opinion. I'm not an expert on this, and this is not a recommendation to bet on anything in particular. Then we have Sweden and Kai with Bara Bara Bastu. They have been leading throughout the entire season. They're still ahead with a 40% winning chance, which is quite a bit. But Baby Lasagna last year also had a quite high winning chance. A week ago, they were at 34%, so the performance seems to have pleased people, and they now believe in their winning chances even more. Maybe also because Estonia is so early on in the running order, and they might have been a televote competitor for Sweden. And then also because the jury favorites might be spread out a bit more than they were in recent years. We have Austria, France, Switzerland, and lots of others that the juries might go for. So that might be the reason for that. I might do another odds update if something dramatic changes, but otherwise this is my odds update for today. Then next, I want to do a chart update as well, which songs are streaming a lot in Europe after the 2 semi-finals, because that can be an indication how well they will do, especially in the televote as well. And we're using another cool website, erctracker.com, where you can check the charts for yourself. And we will be looking at Apple Music, Spotify, and also iTunes, even though iTunes is not that popular in a lot of countries anymore. You keep mentioning that in the comments, I know, but still interesting to see what is going on there. So, as you can see, Kai is doing incredibly well on Apple Music at the moment, #1 in a lot of the Nordic countries, Sweden, Finland, and Norway, but also in Estonia. Even higher than Tommy Cash, who is from Estonia, obviously. Quite interesting to see that. Lithuania, Switzerland, Iceland, Latvia, Netherlands in the top 10, and then also charting in lots of other countries. Even though in the past the favorites have charted in a few more. So that is interesting to see this year. And then in second place, you have Tommy Cash and Espresso Macchiato doing well in his own country, Estonia, but also in Sweden, Lithuania, Malta, and Finland, as well as Latvia and Switzerland and Iceland. He's in the top 10 at the moment. He's doing well in Cyprus, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland as well, and then also in a bunch of other countries. And this is really also, like Kai, all over Europe. So he will probably be getting support from all over Europe. Then JJ in Wasted Love is doing very, very well indeed in streaming in a lot of countries, especially in his own country, Austria, but also in Malta, and then in the top 20 in Finland, Sweden, Lithuania, Norway, Estonia. So that might be an indication that he's predicted to do well in the jury, very well indeed, but this might be an indication that the televote will also be quite good. And then this makes me quite happy because it's our entry, Bala from Germany, doing very well on the charts indeed. Second in Lithuania. I heard that Lithuanians really like this song, so that makes me happy. And then we have Estonia, Switzerland, Finland, Austria, Luxembourg, and Germany itself in the top 30, and then charting in a few other countries as well. And Kyle Alessandro, who got the first spot in the running order, is also charting in lots of countries. It is one of the most mainstream, I would say, pop songs this year. So maybe not that surprising, but very cool for him. He's only 19 and already has a bit of a hit in several countries. That shows you how great of a platform Eurovision can be. Then Erika Wickman. The songs from the second semi-final, even though JJ is charting here in a lot of countries, might need a bit more time to go up the charts. Erika Wickman still doing quite well in a bunch of them. You can see them there. Lucio Corsi is a bit of a surprise because this is a very subdued, stripped-down entry, but he's doing quite well in a lot of countries. And then for one of the favorites, Luan and Maman, the charts don't look that good. So the Code, for example, and Rim Dim Tagidim, as well as Europapa, which got disqualified in the end, were doing very well on the charts, were the top 3 on the charts. And Luan not doing better is interesting. I'm not sure whether it's concerning for their winning chances, but it is interesting, I do think. And then you have Claude, C'est la vie, and Sissel, Hallucination. So another kind of mainstream pop song doing rather well. And I think she might do quite well in the juries, actually. Yuval Raphael doing well in a few countries, Miriana Conte as well, Miriana Conte and Gabri Ponte as well. Napa, number 1 in Portugal, and Emmy, who didn't make it to the final. So this tells you that the charts might not be that big of an indication, also doing well. And the rest, who else do we have? Melody with Esa Diva, Škoda Elektronika with Germ. This is great. A entry with a lot of traditional elements doing so well. And you have Australia, sorry, I didn't want to skip that, doing quite well, even though they didn't make it to the final. Zoe May and Voyage, who I thought might be one of the contenders as well, not doing that well on the charts, but maybe it's not the kind of entry that charts all that much before Eurovision. And then the rest are doing well in a few countries and mostly in their own. Otherwise, Kerry is still doing well in Finland as well. Next, we go to Spotify. And again, we see a pretty similar picture, kind of. You have Kai Barabarabastu doing quite well in a lot of countries already, even though the final hasn't even happened yet. Tommy Cash as well in a lot of countries. So these might be the two battling it out for the televote, though Kai has a bit of an advantage being much later on in the running order. Kyle Alessandro doing really well. Claude as well. And Bala, again, among the top 5 in Spotify at the moment. So that is quite nice to see for me. And then we have Portugal doing really well as well. So maybe my prediction for them in the final is quite off. JJ doing well. Lucio Corsi again doing well. And here Voyage is actually doing better than Maman again. Where is Maman? Because she is one of the favorites as well. There. Not too many impressions there. Might be that the second semifinal is just 2 days ago and maybe it hasn't updated in all that many countries yet. So, and here you see the others as well. You can, as I said, go to the website and look for it yourself. And then we have iTunes. Once again, we see Kai and Tommy Cash doing really well. Again, Bala from Germany doing very well indeed, and Yuval Raphael is doing much better here than in the others. Number 1 in Israel, number 3 in Switzerland, number 10 in Greece and Austria, and 12 in France as well. We see Sissel Hallucination again doing rather well. People weren't surprised that she made it through the semi-final, but maybe she could get a pretty good televote. It is one of the more standard pop songs, and maybe people are a bit overwhelmed with all the others. And here, Maman and Luan are doing relatively well, actually. Sixth in France and in Switzerland as well. Claude and C'est la vie, but we also still see Loreen and Tattoo, our winner from 2 years ago, doing better than some of the entries this year. JJ doing rather well. Yeah, and you can look for the other countries on the website yourself. So that's my chart update and my odds update for today. Again, not an expert, just my opinion. Do come back to the channel because I'm going to do a preview of the grand final with a lot of other fun things as well. The winner of Eurovision Knockout, for example, will be included in that video. And then later today, I will do my final prediction who will win Eurovision. So do subscribe if you don't want to miss that. And if you do, then I might see you in my next video. See you then, and bye-bye.